I am a huge fan of Team Deathmatch in the Battlefield series. That's something you don't hear very often from YouTubers in the Battlefield community. And now that I think about it, there aren't too many YouTubers that even play Team Deathmatch in their videos. It's mostly Conquest or Rush, sometimes Operations if they're playing Battlefield 1 or 5. But yeah, there's not too much love for TDM in the Battlefield community, even though it's actually one of the most played game modes in the series. It still doesn't get a lot of attention. Like when Battlefield 2042 was announced about, 2 months ago, most of the hype and excitement was focused around Conquest, which makes sense because 2042 is going to have 128 players, more than any other Battlefield game. And of course with Battlefield, Conquest has always been the main focus of the series, because that's what makes Battlefield stand out from the rest of the crowd. You have these big large-scale battles and these huge maps. Of course, Conquest will always be the heart and soul of Battlefield. But I think Team Deathmatch is another really good mode in the Battlefield series, even if it's not as fleshed out as Team Deathmatch in other FPS games like Call of Duty, for example, where that game is clearly made for TDM. With the Battlefield series, you can clearly tell that Team Deathmatch is not even close to being a priority, because we're less than 3 months away from the release of the brand new game, Battlefield 2042, and we still haven't gotten confirmation as to whether or not Team Deathmatch is even going to be a part of the game. We know we're getting Conquest, we know we're getting Rush, and we have the brand new Portal mode, but we haven't heard a word about TDM yet, which can mean one of two things. Either there's going to be no Team Deathmatch in 2042, or DICE doesn't think it's important enough to even mention Team Deathmatch because it's not a huge selling point of the game in the first place. So even if they have Team Deathmatch, they don't think it's going to be a thing that's going to make people pre-order the game if they haven't already. And I guess there's also a third option that they are going to do Team Deathmatch, but it won't come out at launch. It won't be out until months after the game's release, since 2042 will be a live service game. The interesting thing, though, is that I did a poll many months ago asking you guys, what is the best game mode in Battlefield? Of course, Conquest got the vast majority of the vote, but look at what came in second place. Team Deathmatch with 23%. And Rush was way behind with just 8%, along with Operations. But of course, one poll on an irrelevant YouTube channel doesn't tell the entire story. I know. I just thought those results were interesting. Yeah, me personally, if it comes out that Battlefield 2042 will not have Team Deathmatch at all, I will probably be less likely to buy the game. Not that I'm gonna play Battlefield just for Team Deathmatch. Of course, Conquest is always gonna be the best thing about the game, but TDM is a really nice thing to have, especially if you're not in the mood to play an hour-long match of Conquest, because yes, sometimes they can go up to an hour, especially if you're on a custom server. I like having quick 10-15 minute matches, and also the maps are a lot smaller than what you play in Conquest, so it's more fast-paced, and it's really good for practicing your gunplay if you're not very confident in shooting and you need to get better at the game. Team Deathmatch is a good way to practice and to get better, because with Conquest, your main focus is to capture the flag, not necessarily to get the most kills and to use your gun the most effectively. It's an objective game mode. But TDM, it's all about killing people. There's nothing else to it. And for the most part, Team Deathmatch doesn't have any vehicles. No helicopters, no tanks, none of that shit, so you don't have to worry about that either. It's just straight gunfights, which I love because I'm an infantry guy in Battlefield. I know a lot of people, they specialize in jets and tanks, and they're a vehicle player. So those guys are not going to really enjoy Team Deathmatch all that much. But for someone like me that actually likes shooting guns and being on the ground, it's a lot of fun for me. And it's also a quick way to unlock attachments and unlock progress towards your weapons, since the gameplay in TDM is much more fast-paced. You can get a lot more kills than you could in Conquest. Of course, TDM is far from perfect. There's a reason why I don't play it all the time. One thing is the maps, they're not always the best, because what they do with Team Deathmatch is that they take the Conquest map, break off a section of it, surround it with invisible walls, and that's your TDM map. Some maps it actually works pretty well, like Zavin in Battlefield 4 is my favorite TDM map in all of Battlefield. It flows so well. But then there are other maps like No Shark Canal in Battlefield 3, which is the absolute worst Team Deathmatch map I have ever played in any first-person shooter. And that includes Piccadilly, that includes Euphrates Bridge in Modern Warfare 2019. Yeah, No Shark Canal is even worse than those, because it's nothing but people camping on top of the satellite dish, and there's no way to counteract them at all. It plays like absolute dog shit. Even though people love No Shark Canal, there are No Shark Canal 24/7 servers. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people to actually think this map is good? So yeah, typically in TDM, the quality of the maps can be hit or miss. I do find more of them good than bad, to be fair, but there's definitely a lot of room for improvement in how they design the maps in TDM. We would probably benefit more for having maps that were built from scratch that are designed specifically for Team Deathmatch, instead of just taking Conquest maps and making them TDM. Another Another issue is the spawns, because it has the same spawn system as regular Battlefield, so you can spawn on a teammate or a squad mate. So what ends up happening is that the teammates and the enemies, they're just all scattered around the map. There's no real spawn logic in Team Deathmatch, because you can just pretty much spawn anywhere you want in the map, as long as there's a squad mate there, and it kind of becomes a clusterfuck. So yeah, Team Deathmatch definitely has its problems, but I still have a shit ton of fun playing it, and there was actually a time, not that long ago, when I was playing more Team Deathmatch than I was playing Conquest, as I had less and less free time to just play Conquest all day. Because like I said earlier, games of Conquest can just drag on for way too long, which sometimes I'm not a big fan of. So having a quick and fast-paced game mode like Team Deathmatch in a game like Battlefield adds a lot of variety to the gameplay, and I love it so much. I would definitely enjoy the series a lot less without it. But I want to know what you guys think about Battlefield Team Deathmatch in the comments down below. Do you play it? And how would you feel if Battlefield 2042 does not have Team Deathmatch? Would that affect your buying decision at all? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.